Hello, Shubha. Shall we begin? Okay. Yes. Hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Yeah. So we'll start with a short prayer. Invoking Lord Dhanvantari and starting with the Shanti mantra. Just take a moment to sit with your eyes closed, bringing your awareness to your breath, the body. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalashahastaya Sarva Amaya Vinashaya Sarva Bhaya Vinashaya Trailokanathaya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Okay, welcome to the session. Let me share the presentation for today. Okay, so can you all see this screen? Yes, good. Yeah. So today we are going to talk about what we can have on your plate. So how can you create a balanced meal? It is directly linked to so how we are feeling. Yeah. So what we can eat is directly linked to how we are feeling. What exactly is happening at your physical level and at our mental level, and what are the seasons and what time of the day you are eating. All this depends on the meal, whether it is balanced for us or not. Okay. So this is, I'm not sure if you got an opportunity to look at recording or were you in the last time's presentation. So we talked mostly about the strength of the Agni, about our digestion and how to recognize when the digestion is going haywire. For example, if it is going too low or is it too high, and when it is irregular. So, what are the symptoms we get at physical level? Like either it is constipation or the burping or the belching or some lethargy, yeah, or anxiousness. Everything are connected to the strength of the Agni. And so I want to take a moment to see, like, if you have uh, tried to practice some of the things that we discussed last week, last time, in terms of how to protect the strength of the Agni, how to improve the Agni strength, right? Like eating at regular intervals and the following the time gap between each meals. Are we sleeping well? Yeah. And what are the lifestyles that are activities that are affecting our Agni? So if you have experimented with those concepts and learned something, or kind of if you find anything challenging to follow. So I would like to spend some moment to hear from you what your experience has been working with Agni and working with your food. And then we can move on with the this week's concepts. Because that is the, so with Ayurveda, it's not just what we are eating, it is also how we are eating, when we are eating, and so why we are eating, all those, and our attitude towards eating, everything is important. So we are going to, that is what we will look at. Yeah. So yeah, if anybody wants to start, Deepa.
Yeah, so I haven't made any progress. Like food is frustrating, cooking is frustrating.
Hmm. Okay.
It's
Anything
a space.
particularly challenging that you found, or?
Yeah, so what I've noticed is that I think that I have to cook because I know that restaurant food is not good for me. So what usually happens is by around 11, my acne just comes up very suddenly. So around 12, let's say I am like not hungry and I'm like, okay, I will just wait. And cooking takes some time, like half an hour to 1 hour. And then I just postpone it because I don't like cooking. And then suddenly it just rushes up. And when it rushes up, I cannot cook because I'm so like irritated and
Yeah.
annoyed. So then I order from the restaurant. So that's
Mm.
one issue I have. Second, I have noticed is sometimes I like the meals from the restaurant. So I go out and let's say at 2 o'clock, I'm hungry and I'm involved in something and I end up doing that for a few hours. And by 4 o'clock in my mouth, I really want to eat, but my acne has gone down. And then I eat
Mm.
this biryani or meals that I should have eaten during lunchtime, which
Right.
my acne and my taste buds craved for. But towards evening, it's only my taste buds, and I eat it, and it's so heavy. The sleep is disturbed. So it's not anything positive, but at least I became aware of these two issues I have. That the acne just I have to be prepared for the time when the fire
Mhm.
just breaks out.
Yeah. 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 So the planning actually makes a lot of difference. And also having the routine, basically. So once you start establishing the routine for yourself, like following the rhythms of the day, that is where so your Agni becomes much more stable, right? It doesn't go up and high, low at different times. It kind of tries to follow the schedule. So whatever we are doing in terms of like some of the things that we do be out of the habit, right? So to break away from it, so we need to kind of start with having some discipline towards following the routine. Once you establish some routine for the meal times, that is how it worked for me. So I started eating. Before, I used to not eat until 10 o'clock in the morning, even the breakfast. So, but I started having something in the morning, like 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning, within 1 or 2 hours after I wake up. And then the later schedule follows, right? So having the good breakfast now doesn't mean that you need to have a heavy breakfast, but having something in the morning, it kind of, you are triggering that hunger, and then it gets digested, and you kind of try get hungry around the right time. So the 4 to 6 hours gap between the meals is what is recommended. So maybe 12, between 12 and 2, so you can have your lunch, all that. So, and once you start making some changes, right? Once you start actually having one thing, okay, I want to follow the rhythm of the day for eating. So then other things fall in place. So whether you cook or get it from the outside, when we get the food from outside, we don't know what is going on as far as the oils and the other ingredients go. So it is highly recommended that we actually make that attempt if we have time to cook. So
So I want to raise one more question, which is I am confused about the number of meals I want to have. So sometimes, like most often, I feel like I need only two meals. Like I'm not hungry in the morning. I get hungry towards 10 o'clock, and then when I eat at 10 o'clock, then I'm hungry at 4 o'clock, and then I force myself to
yeah.
eat a lunch when I'm not hungry. So I'm just confused. Like, should we? Is it? Confused in the sense I'm not able to understand whether my body needs two meals or three meals.
And it also depends on the sleep, right? Everything is connected. So, ahara, vihara, nidra. So, it's the food that we take in, and what is your lifestyle? Like, what are the activities you are doing throughout the day, and how is your sleep? And whether you are feeling hungry in the morning or not also depends on how well you are sleeping at night. So if the sleep gets disturbed, it affects our hunger and the digestion process. So how is your sleep? Are you sleeping? What time are you sleeping? Yeah, are you when you are waking up, are you waking up fresh? Right? Yeah. So actually working with the sleep will also improve our Agni. Just having that schedule, right? So because 10 to 2 is the time where the body repairs itself. And then it goes to the repair and rejuvenation process. So that is the crucial time for us to be able to taking rest and not involving in any other activities other than resting the body, yeah, nourishing the body. So if you have that place and then you still experience this irregular hunger and all, so that is something to look at. But if you can have start implementing that routine, so you will see the difference. Someone else raised hand.
Yeah, Sunanda, no? Nandi, she had her hands raised.
Yeah, Nandi, Sunanda. Yes.
Thank you so much for last week's session. Oh, it was a couple of
Yeah,
weeks ago.
yeah, yeah.
It was nice to get a reminder of the different agnis and how they
Mm,
work. And I realized the 6 hours in between meals is really difficult for me. Like I get
mhm,
like a very sharp hunger, like around
mm.
3.5 hours after my breakfast.
Around 3.5 hours after your breakfast. Okay. Mm.
And then I still work with like I'm still trying to work out what the right amount is. Like I know that in theory we should also leave some space for water or tea and also some space so that everything can churn in our stomach. But it's really
Mm.
difficult for me to feel when I'm satisfied and full at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
I'm
Yeah.
still trying.
Mm.
to
Yeah. 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 So basically, just that's how we learn, right? Like we can't expect ourselves to know everything, even with the fullness, because we are kind of not bringing attention to those areas before, right? So we are just starting on the process. And one thing I heard is about when you are eating, so uh, the amount of food you need. So when you actually get that amount in the stomach, so the first burp you get is the time to stop eating, even if you have more food on the plate. So that is the time to stop eating, and the body gets. Uh, Sometimes our eyes are more hungry, our tongue is more hungry because we like the taste of it, or right. So those are the things that we need to kind of slowly work to come over. Yeah. But as we start focusing, as we start chewing the food is also very, very important. As you start chewing the food, your satisfaction level will improve. right? Because you are actually really tasting the food for a longer time in your mouth as you chew. So that actually improves the satisfaction level. So these are all the things that we can add on to our eating routine that will, yeah, so help you with that. And if you are getting hungry in 3.5 hours, basically, yeah, seeing what you are eating for breakfast, whether you need to eat a little bit more, or between the breakfast and lunch, in between, you can eat a fruit if you are feeling very hungry. Yeah. And also everything, whatever we are eating, we need to make it a little bit more conscious, right? Not just grabbing something while we are doing something else. So that actually helps to, yeah, stabilize our Agni. Good, good. Thank you, Nandi. Thank you, Deepa. Anyone else? I see. What does easy digestible food mean during Ekadashi? Absolutely follow it twice a month and must involve a light virechana purgation. Is it necessary to follow it twice a month? So whether it is necessary to follow is, I think, not sure. It is a personal choice. And there is easy. So basically, Ekadashi is in one from Ayurvedic perspective. These are introduced for to actually rest the digestive system. So because we've been so Agni is constantly working to digest the food and all that. So that is the reason why. So it's a fasting in terms of lighter foods that are easy to digest. Is I'm not sure exactly what the Ekadashi what is that prescribed food and everything. So any lighter to digest is some things that are kind of light khichdi or kind of I don't know if the grains are recommended during Ekadashi or not. But if you can eat grain, that easy to digest grain is rice. So rice is cooked in a kanji format or in the khichdi format. So that are kind of take lighter, don't load our acne too much. And also reducing the number of vegetables, not giving too many option variables, and anything that is heavy, like the heavy beans or the nuts or anything that are heavy to digest. Or yeah, so if you can anything that can keep that digestive load on the light on the agni. So that is what I would say. Yeah, so basically, if you want, so that's when your body is also kind of resting and rejuvenating. So it's something that if you want to do it to maintain your acne, so that is very good. So to do it twice a month is very, very useful. I haven't started these things yet, so I can't talk much about it. And I haven't heard that you need to follow it by Virechana, purgation after that. No. Yeah. So, yeah. So anything else? Anything else you guys wanna? You experienced anything else you observed? We can, okay. And so let's go through the next time. Next one, let's see. Okay. How do you plan what to eat or what to cook for the day? So what are the factors you consider so when you are planning a meal? So do you consider how you are feeling, or do you consider what is in the refrigerator, or do you consider how is the weather? And do you take into account are you eating during for the lunch or the dinner? So what factors go into deciding so what to cook? I'd like to hear from some of you. So we can basically set the baseline for our conversations. Yes, Deepa.
So I have noticed that I cook based on so I had put a few questions on the chat as well because I live in Dubai where we don't get fresh produce. Most of it is imported and it's in the freezer. So the limited choice of vegetables makes it a bit hard. Like I have to repeat the same things that is organic and that seems like 2 to 3 days or 1 week old, which is like carrots or beetroots, which seems to come from Lebanon. Uh, so and then being a Keralite, rice is a main food for us, whether it is breakfast, where it is in powdered format, we just make different dishes, or lunch, which is rice. And then cooking itself is not very simple. Like Indian cooking, I have found it's extremely difficult to get the spices correct. So I personally find cooking very challenging, and because of that, what I eat has become very limited. And another thing I noticed is when I travel, like for example, I traveled to Bhutan and Bali, not Bali, Bhutan and China, and what I noticed is I could eat simple meals, like there was no spices, but it was fresh produce. So even just tossing it in oil seemed very tasty. But over here, sometimes I feel like I have to excite my senses with spices. But since I don't know the right measurements, it just becomes difficult. And most of the time, it also gives indigestion because of my body type. So this is why, like, I know I have too many questions and shares because this food thing is like I cannot comprehend it, and I've been struggling for 14 years that I've been living by myself, and I always compare with my mother's cooking, and I know like it never reaches to what she does. Like I try to make a kadla curry, and it does not never becomes like what she does. So I always compare, and I lose my motivation because the taste isn't good. So I end up buying from even fish curry, same thing. Like I try to make the way she does, but I can't, and I end up buying fish curry from outside.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Um, so as far as the produce goes, basically it's recommended to get the fresh produce, but if it that is the ideal thing. Otherwise, the frozen is fine based on how when it gets frozen. So just looking at the sources. So whether it's get frozen immediately after harvesting, yeah, and what is the quality of the frozen food and all that. And so you need to, I guess this is something we need to take offline to talk about the relationship with the food. And so where is that anxiety coming from, or kind of that dissatisfaction about the meals? And make sure you are using the spices, also the fresh spices. Yeah, so that makes a difference. So if they are stored for a longer time in the powder form, that loses its nutrition value, its flavor, and everything. So making the fresh meals and immediately eating within 2 to 3 hours makes the difference. Yeah, in the taste level also. So you find it very tasty if you eat immediately after cooking. So there are some things that you can start experimenting with the simple meals and see how it goes. Yeah.
And plus, if you refrigerate it, like it's said that for 2 days you can refrigerate. Like, do you recommend that, or it's like for people who really cannot cook fresh every day?
Yeah, it all comes back to what are we wanting out of from our food, right? At least as our yoga practitioners are kind of trying to eat healthy and all, it is recommended to eat fresh.
Okay.
So as for that, once you keep it in the refrigerator, once it stays overnight, more than 24 hours and all, it has a tendency to build tamas, like it loses its prana. And so tamas qualities will increase in the food itself. So, and then if we are consuming it, we can't expect ourselves to be, so having that sattvic and being able to do the things that we want to do and that kind of stuff. So the I basically, before I have known this about the fresh food and all that. That's what I used to do. I used to make a sambar and something and keep it in the fridge for 2 to 3 days and eat it. So I didn't know the difference, but once I started actually eating the fresh meals, then I noticed, oh, that is why I was feeling sleepy after the meal, or that's why I was being very lethargic. Was more inertia overall. Yeah. But once I started eating fresh meals, then I noticed the difference. Okay, that was not working for me. Yeah. So
So
it
does it apply
actually,
to vegetables also? Like if we store vegetables for 1 week, does that also become
so
tamasic? So is it, so my question would be like,
vegetable, cooked vegetable, or
no,
you mean?
no, fresh vegetables. So we can work two ways. One is either buy vegetables, cook for a few days and keep it in the fridge, or we can keep the vegetables for about a week and then take portions and cook it. So
Yeah,
does
yeah.
vegetables
That
also
is the
lose its
recommended version. That is the
okay.
recommended one. So keeping the vegetables in the fridge uh, and cooking it with them instead of cooking and keeping it in the fridge.
Okay.
Yeah, because vegetables actually, even in the modern science, it loses its nutrition value once it is cooked and kept. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Good, good, good. Yeah. So anyone else has anything to share from here?
I can share, Monica.
Yes. Good morning.
How I plan to cook and eat, I think that's the question, right? Uh, can you hear me?
It's breaking. Yes, yes, yeah. I can hear. Monica, right?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, most of the times, I think I plan my meals as per the season. So if it is, I live in Delhi. So if it
Okay.
is really hot, we have extreme weather, so very hot and very cold. Mostly
Mm-hmm.
hot. So it'll be mostly lighter meals. I try to do that. Winters, it is more of heavier things like parathas and a lot of fried
Yeah.
food,
Yeah.
lot of ghee into it.
Nice.
Summers will be more rice, and yeah. So, and generally, I feel the lunch is the heaviest meal. That's what I try and do. Um,
Okay.
a
Nice.
lot of
Yeah.
vegetables and a lot of vegetables because I'm a vegetarian, so a lot of vegetables and dal and rice and
Mm-hmm.
buttermilk.
Yeah.
Breakfast is generally an upma or a poha or uh, chila. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we don't do many fermented things. In North India, we don't have fermented foods, not many in our,
Nice. Nice. Yeah.
the way we cook. And
Mm.
dinners will ideally dinner when I was smaller, like in my mom's house, it was always chapati, but now I'm finding gluten doesn't work for me at all, or at least whatever illness I'm getting, all my Ayurvedic doctors will say don't eat gluten. So
Mm.
everything in dinner now has boiled down to soup and sauteed vegetables, whether it's winter or whether it's summer. Because earlier it used to be vegetables and chapati, but now because of the gluten thing, I don't know if it works or not works for me. I haven't been able to pin it down, even though I've been trying to observe it. But
Mm.
because any ailment that comes up, my Ayurvedic doctor will first thing say that, stop having gluten first thing.
Mhm.
So therefore, so therefore the dinner, so how I plan my dinner is then it's soup and a lot of vegetables.
Mhm. And it is working for you in the sense, health-wise, satisfaction-wise. Are you missing your grains? Are you missing your chapati in the evening?
Yes, I miss it all the time. And that's why I slip because what happens is, till I'm unwell, so
Mm.
basically my pitta shoots up. And this has happened in the last 4 years. So that
Mm-hmm.
gives me migraines and that gives me a cough, which I was also trying to clear my throat right now. Also, the pitta gives me that some easiness here. Also, the Delhi
Mm.
pollution.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and what else do I get? Some body pain here and there sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So that is why whenever I'm not eating gluten, these subside, but I miss
Mm.
it all the time. So the moment these become better, I go back to eating the chapati
Yeah.
and paratha, and then it is all right for a few months, and then they again resurface. Then again, I
Mm.
go to the doctor and a nutritionist, and then again, the same thing. You'll have to stop the gluten and lactose is what they say. But anyways, I don't like milk or milk products, so that's all right. The only milk product I have is ghee and buttermilk, so it's all right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. And you do drink buttermilk regularly? Or...
After lunch every day, except when it is too cold here.
Okay, okay. Yeah, okay. Um, yeah. So the gluten is something that is basically you hear a lot of people having the gluten, so not being able to digest the gluten, right? So because of the microbiome or kind of whatever the effects of the processed atta or kind of processed wheat flour had on our stomach, it kind of over the time kind of affected the way our ability to digest the gluten. So the way Ayurveda looks at it is uh, again, how can you strengthen the Agni? So maybe work with your Ayurveda doctor or kind of if you have an Ayurvedic nutritionist or something. So how can you actually strengthen the Agni to be able to digest little bit of, if not every day, once in a while, right? And so you could look at the if you can get a freshly milled wheat, uh, right? Which didn't go into too much, not genetically modified. And the barley I heard is something that people, even though it has some gluten content so you can still be able to digest the barley. For some people, it doesn't affect it much. And there are some old, they are available in West. I'm not sure in India. So the iron corn is some is it's a different type of wheat. That is the oldest wheat that is not actually kind of processed too much into like genetically modified. So it works well for some people and that's spelt or something. Yeah, and in other times, basically reducing, not doing anything with the refined flours, right? So the refined flours would actually, it sits in our body for a long time because our body doesn't know how to digest it. So that's
Okay.
why we ask people not to eat the all-purpose flour or refined flours because that is coming without any knowledge because everything that is in the thing was stripped out, so it doesn't body is not able to communicate with it and how to digest it, so that's why it sits for a long time. And those are all the things that affect our microbiome.
Ah,
So not just the wheat, right? Like if you're eating anything processed food, because there are a lot of chemicals and preservatives that are added that can strip away from our healthy microbiome. And processed food or the canned foods and the refined oils and all those things ill effect. So when you cut down on those, and again coming back to the rhythm of the day and following those rhythms will actually help to strengthen the Agni. So I'm saying this very confidently because my Ayurveda teacher actually overcame this gluten intolerance, and so by working with these modifications and all that. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
I
and
have
because yeah,
so in India also we get the khapli wheat, which is the MR wheat,
mm,
which is the most least processed, I would say.
process.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
tried. We have some places around which freshly
yeah.
mill also. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Did you try those? I've been trying.
yes,
Yeah.
I try
Mm,
that. Mostly I have that, but I think you have a fair point because once I stop taking care of these things, besides the khapli wheat at home, when you step out, there's a lot of processed refined flour things, like there'll be a cookie here and there, or there'll be.
yeah, yeah,
So I think
yeah,
that eventually in the long run then works on the microbiome in a negative
yeah.
way. Then
Negative.
even
Yeah.
the good things stop getting
The-
digested.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, taking care of those things, other things that can affect Agni will also, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Good, good, good. Thank you.
See.
Thank you, Monica. Kanupriya.
Hi, Shubha. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I generally get the vegetables. I live in California, so get the
Mm,
vegetables from the Indian store, and
mm,
for a week, I
mm,
don't go to farmers market, but just from Indian store, and then keep it in the fridge and then use it and
mm,
daily and
mm,
prepare the meal.
mm.
But sometimes, for convenience, we end up using frozen vegetables as well.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, like some of my friends, I
Mm,
use sometimes fresh, sometimes frozen, but some of my friends completely use like frozen vegetables. Uh,
mhm,
so I wanted to get your opinion on
mm,
how good is frozen vegetables, and
mm,
does it lose its prana value because it's been frozen for a long time? Though it's
mm,
been frozen in a nice way where they take
mm.
whatever we see on the packet, it's written that they
Yeah.
do it in a very good way, but
Mm,
how does it differ from the eating the fresh vegetables? And so also sometimes what happens is when you go to Costco, you buy fruits, but then those fruits are it doesn't have the same taste. It's like they have frozen it or kept it in the freezer for certain time and then they take it out. So
mm.
it's not that it's not good, but the taste is not there, and then we buy it and eat it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. So if you're living in California, I suggest you to start exploring the farmers markets because you have a very good seasons and like basically the farmers markets are actually I think open throughout the year for you guys, right? So start exploring some of the locally grown. You might also find some Indian vegetables that are grown locally in California. Yeah. Because like I started mixing both Indian and the local vegetables for past few years because by the time even the fresh vegetables in the Indian stores sometimes they don't look like they have any prana, right? By the time it reached the stores, it basically probably traveled for a long time and kept it in different freezers or whatever, right? But because we are used to the taste and we know how to cook and all those things, we kind of tend to go towards those. That is perfectly okay. But start exploring some of the local stores, yeah, and see how you can actually use them and cook them in your cooking. And I heard conflicting things about the frozen vegetables. I also use them from time to time, for example, frozen peas and some vegetables that I don't get here. Uh, the one version I heard is it doesn't have any prana, the frozen vegetables. And the other version is because it is frozen right after it is if it is frozen right after it is harvested, it keeps its nutrition value intact. That is from the modern science. Yeah. And again, just observing how you are feeling is one thing to do. And don't go too harsh and not using those at all, because we have other things that we also need to adjust and all that. So limiting the use of frozen vegetables is, if you have a ability to get fresh vegetables, limiting the use of frozen vegetables is what I would recommend. And yeah, and exploring the local organic stores and the farmers market, even for the fruits, because we get them from the store for they are there for more than a week or something, and then we keep them again for more than a week in our fridge. That is why um, it is good to go for something that is more fresher. Yeah. Um, yeah. Again, same with the fruits. If you have farmers market close by or something that you can go to, start exploring those for the fruits as well. Because I don't know how many people are in your family right now, because Costco has a lot of fruits. Anything you buy is in bulk, and that again sits in our home for a long time. So you can actually feel the difference in the taste if you buy it from the local stores. That is my experience. You can try it and see yeah, how it feels. Yeah. Once we start using that, we won't go back to the other way of eating. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jyoti had her
Subha,
hand up.
I had
Yeah.
one question. Yeah, no, actually, I wanted to comment. I had the same issue as the lady before she spoke. I forget her name. I didn't see it.
Monica.
Monica, yeah. So for instead of wheat, there's also this Java flour, no? The jaw. It's an ancient
Yeah, it's
grain.
barley, right?
I
Yeah.
don't know. It's not barley. I found it
Barley.
here. I was told it's Yavva Java or JOW Jow. So that is gluten free. So that I started making rotis with that, chapatis. I mean, if Monica wishes, she could try that. And then you don't miss the chapati so much, you know.
Yeah.
It's the job. So we have a store here in Hyderabad called VG Naturals, which makes this. It's a small store, so they don't really do big scale, but he does have that. So if you want, I can send you a packet and you try. Just send me your address. But it worked for me. You know that, and same the lactose thing also. Then I started putting almond milk and you know, things like, and soy milk. You know, it's not the same, but you can, you know, substitute. And that probiotic yogurt, that Akshaya Kalpa, that has good yogurt, which does not, you know, which has some probiotics and it's not bad. And like Shubha said, the Ayurvedic doctor recommended buttermilk and not yogurt, you know. So buttermilk in the afternoons is helping. I'm not having yogurt in the night, but buttermilk. And for the, you know, lactose and the gluten, which I have similar issues. So this is what I did, and it kind of helped, I think. But I did experience lately some, I don't know, I put the question, I don't think you saw it, about bloating and gas and all. I had this, I'd done this gut biome test. Somebody was doing some research here, the AIG, and they found H. pylori bacteria, which apparently everybody has. But since it showed up, then my doctor said, do that antigen test. I did, and
Antibiotic.
I asked a gastroenterologist. He said, take the antibiotic. So there's a strong dose. And after that, I started feeling bloating. It was like for 10 days, that antibiotic. So then I controlled what I was eating. Like I said, let me stop and just go very easy on my food and see. And it worked. But I wanted to understand from you, what are the foods that cause this bloating and gas in Ayurveda? If there are any specifics, they say some foods, they say you have to leach them, or you have to, uh, you know, uh, not like some for the glycemic index, they say put in the fridge and remove and eat, no? Like rice also. Sometimes for diabetics and all. So keep it in the fridge, take it out and eat, then it reduces the glycemic, this thing, the sugar doesn't spike up. So I don't know if there's a view on that point. Yeah. So is there something there?
So bloating and all is something that is new that you started experiencing only after the antibiotics, or is it
No, no,
something
it has.
physically?
I have managed to, work with it, and it's fine now. But I
Hmm.
wanted to understand what are the foods that cause this.
Okay. You are breaking in between. I'm not sure if everybody's experiencing or just me.
One phone call came in between. That's why I think.
Oh,
Now
okay.
it's okay.
Yeah, now it
Yeah.
is good.
So
It's
it's
good.
just when you take medicine, I know some changes will happen and you may feel. So that aside, I just want to understand what are the foods that can cause this, or is it different for everyone?
Yeah. Um, so again, everything goes back to what else what are the other things you are doing,
Ah,
right? Are you able to recognize that as soon as you eat, right? Are you paying attention once you eat it? How is it feeling in your body? And so, are you able to sleep well? Is your digestion is good? Yeah. So basically, when we start experiencing these things, that means our digestion is not working, or we are not eating according to our digestion, right? And some of us are tend to have more strong hunger, or like more stronger agni, or some people might have something that can only take lighter foods and takes long time to digest and all that. So are we eating according to that? That also makes a difference. And so we will get to those as we go through these elements
sure.
and all that. So yeah. So what are the foods that might cause the increase in the thing, and how can we correct it once we find that it is happening? How can we adjust with our diet and all that?
Sure.
And as far as this keeping the rice in the fridge and eating for the glycemic index and all, the way I see from the Ayurvedic perspective, and when it talks about the annam and the food and all, it is not just addressing one issue. It is just like when we talk about yoga, it is about the whole human being, whole person, not just for fixing the leg or like, right? So it is no, similarly with Ayurveda, when it is talking about the aharam, it is about how well you are feeling physically, energetically, and mentally, and all that. So in that sense, once the food is cooked and put in the fridge, or anything. So it considers it as a tamasic food. It might have a long-term effects on your mind, right? So you might experience dullness or kind of lethargy over the time. So, and also it is in the Ayurveda looks at it in a way that especially the rice and lentils, if they are stored and eaten the next day, it takes very longer. That is why I think it is used. It takes longer time to digest. It sits in our stomach for a long time. That's over the time impairs the strength of the Agni.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we need to see if someone is following this and how they are doing over the long time, and how it is affecting the other aspects of the uh, like the body, or the mental wellness and all that.
But what about congee? They say, no, that is very good and fermented in the night. That is rice that is sitting there, which has been traditionally used like that, no, kept overnight,
And
soaked
eaten in the
in
morning,
water and then drank the next morning.
next morning.
Yeah.
And that is, I'm not sure if it is recommended for our lifestyles per se, right? For us, because we are sitting, and like most, compared to how it was before, our life is kind of more of a sedentary, right? In the sense we don't do too much activity unless we go to gym and do some activity. There is not much activities involved, and kanji, the way that Ayurveda says, it's also done in the morning, not over the night thing. But I do know, like what you are saying, that people used to eat that. And I heard that especially for the farmers, right? When
Mm.
we heard about people eating early in the morning and going out in the fields, because it helps them to give that strength because they're working the whole day. Yeah.
No, also probiotics, they say, no, if you put the water, you don't eat the rice, at
With,
least that water
with
with the jeera
water, yeah.
and ginger, that is
Yeah,
probiotic. Is that considered in Ayurveda? Because I know UNESCO voted it as the best breakfast also. You
West
know,
Brazil. Yeah,
yeah. So I'm just wondering, I don't know how it
yeah.
is in Ayurveda.
So, yeah,
But as a
so,
probiotic, at least,
yeah, as
without
a
the rice,
probiotic.
the water from it, mix it in buttermilk and, like
Yeah.
that.
If you are drinking buttermilk, you are already getting probiotic, right?
Mm.
And so how much probiotic do we need is the question.
Mm.
The basically we all have some microbiome, right? And
Right.
the friendly bacteria to be able to digest our food, to eliminate what we don't need, everything is taken care of by that microbiome. So we all have it. So we basically develop it. So it actually comes first thing is formed from our mother's milk, right? So that's when it is formed. And the way we protect it is by eating a balanced meal, yeah, by reducing the processed foods, by reducing the canned foods, preservatives, and all that, yeah. So that is how we protect it. So by eating the balanced meal every day, we are already actually doing a service to our microbiome. And you need these probiotics occasionally, like the buttermilk, the gentle ones, yeah. And anything that is fermented increases increases heat element in our body, right? If
Mm.
you're drinking, I know here there is a, what is it called? Not kefir. I'm trying to remember the name. It's either
Kombucha.
kombucha,
Yeah.
yeah. So you can see a lot of people having
Mm.
acidity and all that because they started drinking it because it's probiotic. But there is a, like, how much you drink. So are you
Mm.
just drinking a little, 1 or 2 spoons? Are you drinking a full glass of it? Are drinking multiple times a day? That all makes the difference. Yeah.
Mm.
So, at least according to Ayurveda, as long as you are eating balanced meal, you might need like once or twice a week some buttermilk and something to support the probiotic, because probiotics, so we are adding more friendly bacteria, right? So you don't want to again overdo that in our gut. So to limit that, so yeah, it's not recommended to do it every day for us. And also observe what else is going on. If you are drinking it every day, is it increasing your heat in the body? Are you feeling
Mm.
more acidic, irritable? Yeah, that is
Mm.
the, so that is the take on the probiotic from Ayurvedic perspective. Even the eating idlis and dosas, that is why it is not recommended to do it every single day. Yeah,
Mm.
eating the fermented foods.
Not every day, but
Yeah, occasionally.
day. Okay.
Yeah.
You say
Hmm.
fermented foods increase Agni?
Fermented foods increase heat in the system. Yeah. And it supports Agni when they are in balanced mode. But if they are kind of overdoing it, then it increases heat in the body. Yeah.
Hmm.
And over the time, it dries up, right? It dries up the mucus and yeah, you feel dryness and all that.
Hmm.
Does that answer your question, Jyoti? To see.
I'm a little confused what to be eating now. Like in
What
terms
to
of
eat?
the fermented food, like idli is traditional, comfort food kind of thing in South. You
Yeah.
eat it and you feel good. But now you eat some, you eat how much, how do you feel, how much to analyze, how much to think,
Oh,
how much you're going to eat, where you're going to eat.
so yeah,
It's just
basically, if you're
like,
eating idli and dosa for a long time, and so what are the changes you are looking from the health point of view for now? So that is the first
you
step,
have to
right?
look at that. Yeah.
How is it affecting? So are you, yeah, then you take
Mm.
a step on kind of.
Yeah.
So for me, I started with actually adding, actually, it actually simplified my cooking after stopping idli and dosas.
Uh,
Yeah. So yeah, it kind of
so what
reduced.
did you include then? Omelets?
Hmm. Yeah, so
Or
we'll
it's
go through
vegan?
that. Let's see what is the time now. So we'll go through. I put in some of
Later.
the
Okay,
examples that
fine.
I did.
Yes.
So to talk about the recipes
Right.
and all that. So
Sure,
we'll
we'll finish that. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
So then
Okay.
okay. So what is what was my so how do you plan? So Ayurveda looks at it from the so we know that when we look at the food, it is mostly about I don't know some of the one of the way we look at the food is carbs, protein, and fats and all that. And Ayurveda looks at it in terms of what do you experience? What are the experiences that this food is leaving on the body? Yeah, how do you experience this food? Is it making you feel more dry? Is it drying the system, or is it cooling the system, or is it heating the system, or is it heavy on the system? Those are the things that wow, Ayurveda looks at when it looks at the food. Okay, so that it's basically depends on how the person is experiencing the food. It's more than about the nutrition qualities in terms of calories. So, and how do we know? How do you know how the food is affecting us? How we experience the food is based on the elements that it is created with. So, as we know, we are all made up of five elements, right? That space, air, fire, and water, and everything, earth. And similarly, everything we eat also has these five elements. For example, if you let's go through this and then we can talk about the examples. So there is the space is one element, the akasha is what would be the qualities of akasha. So if you look at it, it is kind of, I just listed it, but this is something we can go through. So space is light, it is clear, subtle, and it is inactive. So it doesn't move and it is expansive. All right. So, and so again, the other element after space is air, the vayu. Again, it is subtle, but the difference between the space and the vayu is it is mobile. The space is inactive, but this is mobile. Both are subtle. And the air, where space is soft, but the air element is rough. Yeah. And it is clear. And again, it is light. So you can't measure, you can't feel the weight of the air. The next element is Agni, the fire. So it is hot, light, and it is penetrating. It can travel through the body. It is very sharp and it is clear, and again it is subtle and it is dry. So, for example, if you look at, so think about any element, any food ingredient that has the fire element. Can you come up with any examples that might have the fire element with these qualities?
Chili.
Chilies, yes. And chilies has the fire element. That means we will know whether we want to use that chili or not if you are feeling very hot, if you are feeling very dry. And in general, if you are feeling very irritable and anger, maybe that is the time we need to kind of reduce some chilies in the food, yeah, the pungency in the food, yeah. And the next element is water. That is very heavy and it is fluid and it is also inactive. To have the water to move, we need air element. It is inactive and it is dense and it is cold, yeah, and soft. So the next one is earth. Earth is heavy and it is hard and it is slow, inactive, and dense. So if you look at this, for example, so one example for earth, the any food that has earth element. So all the food that we eat has all these elements, but one is the proportions change. Right, the pungency, like for example, chilies will have a more fire element compared to other elements, compared to water or air elements. Similarly, earth. So, for example, sweet potato. Sweet potato will have a more of earth element and then followed by water element compared to, so it might have very less fire element and air and space elements. Right? Is it clear so far? So that is like, for example, if you are feeling very heavy and if you are cooking something for the dinner, you might not want to pick something that is very heavy in the earth element, right? That is like a sweet potato. You want to go for something little lighter. So that is how that is one way to look at the ingredients. So how am I feeling now and what will help me to balance, given what are the elements that are have in the food. And again, this is the golden rule. You might already be familiar with it. So like increases like and opposites balance. So for example, if you are feeling heat, not in terms of food, but what do you do if you are feeling very hot? So what is one thing that you would do? So if you're feeling very hot in the body or kind of it is very hot outside,
Have coconut water
have coconut water. Yes.
or nimbu pani. We make a lot of nimbu pani. I don't
Nimbu
know if it
water.
fits into this because
Yes.
lemon,
Lemon. Mm.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but in North, it's a tradition in summers to have at least once nimbu sharbat, which has sugar and black salt and lemon and water.
Sugar and black sand. Yeah. So that water element and the sugar element, right? Yeah. So you have that. Nice. And yeah. So that is the rule. Basically, it's yeah. So not just instead sticking to that. So basically, if you are feeling very heat, just like I don't know who answered that, but adding these, we actually go for something that can cool our body, right? And if you are actually able to not just in the summers, but on the day to day, if you actually tune into your body and if you are feeling something heating in the body, or acidity or kind of some kind of irritability. So in any cases, so let's look at what are the things you would avoid. So basically in yoga, we talk about this yoga therapy. We talk about this Nidana Parivarjanam, right? So when we are eating, so it's always two things that we need to do. We need to avoid something or kind of reduce the use of something, and we need to add something that can bring us to the balance. So, for example, when you are feeling heat, so I would probably want to avoid, of course, pungent, like the food that has a fire element, lot of fire element, and also these the more of a fermented foods, right? So that has a tendency to increase heat in the system. And what else you would avoid?
Too many spices?
Yes, too many spices, maybe ginger, too much ginger, yeah, can also heat the system. Ginger is good, but you need to use it in a balanced way, yeah. And the activities we do also can increase the heat, that also affect the overall system, right? So look at the kind of the activities that you need to change. Look at how your sleep is, yeah. Sleep can balance or imbalance our state of the body. So, and yeah, so you start adding something that is cooling. So, of course, if it is summer, you would do coconut water and all that. But on a regular day way, so what are the things that can cool the system? So, the rice is cooling, dates are cooling, almonds are cooling, anything that has a little bit of air and water element are cooling, like all the gourds, the bottle gourd, or zucchini, or winter squashes, those are cooling for the system. So you would try to add those, yeah. So that is how you try to balance that. And if you look at the dryness, what are the things that has more dry qualities? Where is it? So if you look at this, air can dry this the system. So anything that has more of a air element, and also anything that has more of a fire element can can increase the dryness. So what? So first, let's look at the, so if you are adding dryness to the dry, so it would increase the dryness. So like increases like. So what are the things that would avoid? So if you are feeling dry, so what do you do if you are feeling dry? So when you are feeling dry on the skin level, that means it is not just limited to the skin. It is the dryness is coming from the inside tissues. So it is very, very important to moisten or the lubricate the our through our food. So we experience that to balance the dryness, to reduce the dryness. Um, so what do you think would increase the dryness?
I just wanted to check because normally I have experienced the heat and cold inside the body, but it's very hard for me to become aware of the dryness. Usually, my skin shows the dryness. That's when I know, my body. And I always equated it to that my skin is dry and not my body is dry. But whenever there is constipation, I realize that it is dry. But it's very difficult to be aware, or like at least for me, that my body is dry. Like how I'm curious to know how others like. Are you able to sense when you feel dry? But when we are thirsty, like
Mm-hmm.
that's when we feel dry. But in terms of food, do we really feel sense dryness?
Those are the symptoms. Constipation is one symptom that you are experiencing, and the frequent thirst is something is telling that there is dryness inside the body, right? And you also try to basically gauge the first symptoms of dryness before it gets too dry on the body also, right? Um, then those are all the symptoms of dryness inside the body. It is not just outside. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, just drinking the water is not enough to actually handle the dryness. So anybody else has anything? Sorry. Has asked. Okay. Yeah. So what are some things you would, so basically, for example, if you are feeling dryness on the skin, you would put some moisturizer, right? You would put something on the moisturizer or something to handle that. But Ayurveda is saying the dryness is coming from inside. Just putting the moisturizer on the skin won't solve the problem. So then you would reduce, like for example, if you are someone who is eating a lot of raw leafy vegetables, right? The raw leaves has a lot of air element in it, and the raw food itself is very drying. So you would, so if you are someone who is eating for this raw salads for a long time, you will experience the dryness in the system, and it will show up on the body through constipation, through the dryness of the skin and all that. So you would reduce the eating raw vegetables, and you would also reduce like the chips and anything that is deep fried and anything that feels very dry, the popcorn and all those things will increase the dryness. So you would reduce those. And instead, you add something that can bring moisture, like lubricate from inside. You add the healthy fats to handle the dryness. So you add healthy fats like olive oil or ghee or coconut oil, and so when you're cooking, you try to add more moist and foods. So cooking with some water in it, and having some soups would also help. Especially now it is fall for us in Seattle, so it is very dry and it is very cold. So I basically try to make more of a soupy food, so that would actually handle the dryness. I start experiencing constipation, so slow bowel movements now. So I'm trying to see how I can handle that with adding some of these, using some of these principles. Yeah. Nandi, you raised the question, right?
Oh,
Does
sure. Monica, go. Because I just raised my hand to say, but you already mentioned.
Okay.
So does adding ghee, like, in your soup, like half a teaspoon on top of it,
Uh-huh.
or in the dal rice, does that help
Mm.
to decrease the dryness?
Um, so basically, so if you are cooking dal, so lentils in general have a tendency to increase dryness, right? Those are the ones that create gassy and all that. So if you actually cook with some ghee, yeah, and actually just dropping 1 teaspoon, a half teaspoon based on how much you are cooking, while while you are cooking the dal, so that would actually help a lot. And adding the appropriate seasonings, that would help to reduce the airy quality of the lentils, and then it will handle the dryness. And the soups you are saying, those are vegetable soups or
Yes,
uh,
vegetable soups.
yeah, yeah. So you can use it as part of cooking process itself. And also,
Okay.
yeah.
Just continuing with the question. So, I don't know, I've read a lot of places that cooking in ghee changes the qualities of ghee. So it's good to add ghee on top when the food is ready and you're ready to eat it. Is it true?
That I haven't heard, Monica.
Okay.
So from what I learned from my training, it's actually mostly cooking with ghee. So yeah, but especially in while cooking lentils and all, adding some fat, if not ghee or any other fat, would definitely help. Yeah.
Thank you.
I have another question related to dal. Now, if you, I've
Yeah.
heard that if you soak dal overnight and throw away that water and then cook it, it reduces
Mm.
the airiness of it in terms
Mm.
of how it could for
And
you.
it reduces the airiness. It basically reduces the time it needs to be cooked. And it also increases the bioavailability of the nutrition that it has. Yeah.
Mm.
And
So
30
you throw
minutes
away
is
the
good
water
enough.
or you keep that water? You throw away that water and then you.
Yeah, throw away the water.
Yeah.
So you can actually just soak, depending on the dal you are say picking. So 30 minutes is good enough. But if
Mhm.
you can actually do it overnight, but that saves the time in the morning, you can do it too. Yeah.
Even for rice, you can do the same.
Rice doesn't need to be soaked as much.
Like brown rice and all, no, like that. The
Brown
heavier
rice.
rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So brown rice, you need to remember that i- so your digestion needs to be really strong to be able to digest the brown rice. Yeah.
Or
And then,
hand pounded rice and that organic rice,
yeah, hand
all
pounded.
those. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So those will need, yeah, basically just see, yeah, the soaking hand pound rice and the brown rice really helps to actually increase reduce the time of cooking, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, increase that. And I do go for a hand pound or brown rice, especially in the winter seasons, because in winter our Agni is little high. So we can digest heavy foods during the winter time. And in the summer, I try to stick to the white rice. Yeah.
Mm. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Deepa, do you have a question?
I had a question on the oils that is used for cooking. So, and even ghee, like, does it increase does it affect the bad cholesterol? And in terms of oils, like in Kerala, we tend to use coconut oil quite a lot. And having met a doctor, he says that coconut oil increases the cholesterol. So, what is a good alternative? Because most of our cooking involves oil. And olive oil, what I've realized is olive oil, it comes in the virgin oil format. And I've read that virgin oil should not be cooked. So, which oil do we use for cooking? Ideally.
Ideally. Again, so in my opinion, from my training in Ayurveda, so just the oil, changing the oil, in my opinion, doesn't change the cholesterol. It depends on a lot of other factors we all know, right?
Yeah.
So that is one thing. And the other thing about the what is the good oil to use. Uh, so talking about the virgin olive oil, so extra virgin, if you get a good quality of extra virgin olive oil, the it has its smoke point is at 400 degrees. That means it can actually be used in our cooking. So the idea is you need to get an oil that is not refined. And so find an oil that is stored in the glass bottles, not in the plastic bottles. And also look at the label and see when it is processed, cold pressed, right? We are looking for the oils that are cold pressed. And then for especially for extra virgin olive oil, look for something that is made so it stays fresh and kind of usable for 1 year. So look for all that information on the label of the oil. So if you want to use extra virgin olive oil, yeah. I don't know much about the rapeseed oil that I think you put in the question. So I don't know much about the qualities. So anything that we are using, any oil, the qualities of the oil comes from what it is coming from. For example, coconut oil is coming from the coconut. So that is why it is cooling. right? So that the cooling, and it is not very heavy to digest, but it is little heavier than the other oils. So that is how you look at it. So the oils are change. There is no one perfect oil for everybody. You can change the oils according to the season. So you can choose sesame oil sometimes. The ghee is good, coconut oil, and if you're used to using olive oil, yeah, look for good quality olive oil and see how it feels. Yeah, hope I answered your question, Deepa.
Yeah. So I was asking, like, since coconut oil is cooling, would you say that suggest that use coconut oil during summer, and maybe
Mhm.
use sesame oil? I'm not sure what is used in North India because regionally we have so many different oils. But maybe in
Uh,
winter we use sesame oil. Is that your recommendation?
Mustard oil, I think in North India there is a
Ah,
lot of
okay.
mustard oil. Yeah, sesame oil is also good. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's a little heating.
So in North, we traditionally we use only two things. One is desi ghee, and the other is
Mm,
mustard oil.
yeah,
There was never any other oil that was ever
um,
used.
yeah, yeah.
Coconut and olive, these are all like modern
Uh-huh.
introductions to our cuisine.
Yeah, so in Kerala, basically it's mostly coconut oil, right? Yeah, yeah. Kanupriya. Kapra.
I had a clarification. You had
Yeah.
said that while cooking lentils, you need to put ghee. So generally, we cook first. We boil lentils in pressure cooker, and then after that, we put a tadka of ghee. So, are you
Mm.
suggesting that while cooking the dal in pressure cooker, raw dal, you put ghee as well?
Mhm. Yeah, that
Like,
is what I'm suggesting. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
and that
And
helps in reducing the air element,
yeah,
is it?
yeah. And
Okay.
so depending on the time you have, I would also suggest actually cooking um, um, the dal not in the pressure cooker or outside. That would also reduce the help to break down the dal in our stomach better. But again, if you have time, and so if you have to choose between the um, refrigerator like leftover food and the pressure cooker food, then I would go for the pressure cooked food. But if you have time, so you can cook it on the stove top. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and again, so if you soak it for a while, if you soak it overnight or soak it at least 30 minutes before you cook, so that would reduce the cooking time and also reduce the gas forming qualities. And yeah, again, all this takes time, some kind of planning, some kind of pause, and being aware of how we are feeling, and some kind of planning would actually help make it a little bit more doable. And over the time, you find, for me, I found it is more creative and interesting to create a meal once we start looking at the ingredients in this way, and also looking at how it is affecting our body, and also looking at how can I digest this, can I really digest this at this moment. So it also helps you with the picking the actually having a variety of foods, right? So before I just used to cook everything with the tur dal, nothing else. Yeah. And so now I have a lot of moong dal in my cooking. I also use black lentils, green lentils, and so in the winter season I also try to add the beans, these garbanzo beans or the black beans. I try to cook with them. So yeah, so you can create various recipes just by understanding the qualities of it.
Okay, thank you.
That's good. Yeah. Again, coming back to this thing of what is the balanced meal from Ayurvedic perspective, anything that is supporting the strength of your Agni, that is supporting your health at this moment, is the balanced meal. Yeah, so you look at we are not going into the doshas that much, but you look at the strength of the Agni, you look at what the season is, what is the sage, what is the time of the day you are eating, what else is going on in your life at that moment. All those things make a difference. And how do you choose? How do you? It's like a puzzle piece. So there is something going on in my system, and the food is something that I'm putting in my body to bring the balance. What are the qualities of the food? What are the attributes? The one is taste, the rasa. The very first thing you experience once you put the food in the tongue. So that is the taste. That is how you experience the food, the very first experience. And then the guna. Guna is the things that we talked about, whether it is rough or whether it is hot or whether it is chewy, dense or something. As you chew the food, you will be able to experience some of these qualities. And the virya is the metabolic. Once the food get digested, so it can either heat the system or cool the system. So what is the effect that the food is having in my body? Yeah. And so the vipaka is the post-digestive effect. Once the food get digested and assimilated, what are the effects of the food in the body? And there is a heat for every food, for every ingredient we are taking. So everything has some medicinal effect. And not everything is explained in the text. So for example, they say rose is good for the heart. So I'm not sure so how it can be explained, but there are some things like the fennel is good for digestion and the cinnamon is good for circulation. All those things are listed. So these are the things that would contribute to uh, that would help us to pick the things that we need for us right now. Yeah, for our cooking. As far as the cooking goes, so these are the things that we are mostly look at. So even the medicine is when the Vaidyas are creating a medicine for us, they also look at these elements of the ingredients. So whether what is the rasa, guna, virya, vipaka, and prabhava. As the as we are cooking for our culinary purpose, if we can focus on the rasa and the quality, is the first two things we want to focus on, and then virya sometimes. Yeah. Um, then let's go to the next one. Kanupriya. Yes.
Oh, sorry, I didn't lower my hand, but I
Oh,
just had a question regarding Vipaka. If you could explain it, I didn't get that part.
so vipaka is the so everything we eat kind of it transforms into the rasa, and so what we eat has a six we there are six different tastes, right? So you all are familiar with the taste of the food. Yeah, from the
Yeah.
Ayurvedic perspective, there is sweet taste, there is sour, salt, and there is katu, the pungent taste. There is a bitter and astringent. These are the six tastes that everything, any ingredient is kind of categorized into some of the all these six tastes. So once the food get digested, the uh, what is left over, whatever the final thing that comes out of that food, will have the different effects. They will have the three tastes. It might be sweet, it might be sour, and it might be pungent. And that has a different effects on the body. And these are not the things that I am familiar with, but that is how that is determined. So each taste you consume will have a post digestive, will have a different taste, and that also determines how it affects the body. Yeah. So this is mostly for the medicinal purposes. for us, if you know about the taste of the food that we are putting in, that would help us to create a meal. Yeah.
Okay.
So what that I can do that now, and going to the next one.
I have a question.
Yes, Captain.
I think already somebody in the chat asked that, but is there like a chart where we know which food has what element? Because for me, it's quite hard to understand. Like you already mentioned some things like rice and zucchini is water, but in my head it's like, I don't know. And it starts
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Basically, no, of course, there are lists will be available on Google or something. If you type in, you can get the list of those. But it is not necessary to remember them as much. But it is as you experience the food, you will, like, for example, if I have a date here, wanted to eat this. So if I look at the date or touch it, so like for example, if I say date, out of the 5 elements, what elements pops up in your head? What do you think date would be made of? So
Am I supposed to answer?
if you know, if you can guess,
Um, no, the knowledge. Air, maybe?
so
And
date,
water, I
yes,
guess.
water for sure. And there is more of an earth element.
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. It is dense. When you eat it, you can feel that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is sweet. So that's how we will, if we have time, we will look at the taste. So basically, each taste will tell you what it is made of. For example, anything that is sweet, that is made of earth and water element,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's how you know. So rice is sweet. That's why we know it is made of, it has more of a earth and water element. Yeah.
Right.
And what else? The lentils are astringent. So astringent taste is made of earth and the space element. So anything that tastes pungent, anything that tastes very sharp and hot is made of a fire element. Yeah, fire and air element. So we will look at that, and we can look at some examples if we have time. So before that, based on what we have learned so far about the how Ayurveda looks at the food and all that. So what comes to your mind? I want at least one or two people to unmute and talk about this plate if you can, and what comes to your mind, whether it is healthy or not, how do we decide, and all that stuff. And what is the good time to eat? Or it is even from the modern perspective, whatever comes to your mind.
I didn't understand your question actually. What?
Ah, so take a look at this plate,
Hmm.
right? So you can see this, the plate with the food in it, right? The rice and the corn and all that stuff. So is this a healthy meal? Is this a healthy bowl?
Well, looking at it, I generally see it as an unhealthy meal because there is cooked rice and then there is raw avocado.
Mm.
That's one. Second is there is a lot of variety. Like it seems like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different varieties together, and if your digestion is not strong, it may not be able to process
Mm-hmm.
this.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, I don't know the logic behind it, but somehow I've always felt that the lemon being sour and raw,
Mm-hmm.
like intuitively, I feel like it's not good to go with most of the dishes, but it's served as along with the salad with almost all dishes, at least here. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay.
those are the
Those
three
are
things.
all good points, Deepa. Yeah, those are all good points. Yeah, good. Monica, want to say?
So I think for someone with a good gut health and balanced doshas, this could be a good lunch, I feel. Um, the avocado and the cream will be adding on to some fat. It's definitely not a very Indian cooking thing. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's a
Yeah.
very Mediterranean, kind of
Mm-hmm.
meal. So there is rice and there is, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
not wrong, there's some cheese and there's some beans under it. There's corn, there's salad, there's
Mm-hmm.
avocado, and there's cream. So from modern perspective, it has all the elements. But from an Ayurveda perspective, too much, too much of variety. But I feel that
Mm-hmm.
somebody who doesn't have an imbalance in the doshas, this will be a good lunch, nourishing,
Lunch.
all the tastes, and giving all the elements of like you mentioned last time, no, that every meal should have
Yeah.
should be satiating our all the tastes. So
Yeah. Yeah.
this is covering that point, it's covering
Mm-hmm.
all the tastes, whether it's sweet or it's sour or it's a little
Yes.
astringent. Everything is getting covered in this.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
it's a good lunch.
A good lunch. Yeah. Yeah. Good, good, good points, Monica. And Nandi, want to say something?
I see it as meat, but I don't know if it's
Mm-hmm.
meat.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the combination of like milk and meat is not a good combination
Mm-hmm.
of the cream.
Yeah.
And then also the mixture of so many different
Mm-hmm.
what has been said before, elements, but also like warm, cooked, and raw as combination. I don't see as
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good, good, good. Good points. Yeah. So all are very good points and relevant to so what we are talking about. So the one thing that Deepa and Kandam told was no, Nandi was told was that this the mixture. So here we have these raw tomatoes, right? And the food is other food is cooked. I am thinking this is this I may be, it may be chicken or tofu. I don't know. And there are black beans here, and there is a cooked rice. Um, and so there is this is a mixture of raw and the cooked food. That is something that is not recommended in Ayurveda. So mixing the raw and cooked food together. In general, it's always recommends cooked foods, warm cooked foods. And as Monica said, yes, this is a good lunch for a person who is not like, if you don't consider this the raw food thing. And also, there are some exceptions for the people who are young and who have a lot of physical activity. So they are able to manage some of these incompatibilities if eaten once in a while, not on an everyday basis. Yeah. This is a good food, but there are too many varieties. Like there is a so black beans are kind of some kind of beans. They also take a long time to digest. They are heavy on the system, and also we have chicken that is also heavy on the that also takes time to digest. These two things, the two different types of proteins ideally is not recommended. And again, mixing with the cream milk, so that is also incompatible. Again, all these are overcome if your acne is very strong and you are doing the activities, the physically active, so you will be able to handle these kind of meal once in a while. But it is never for dinner. Again, as Monica said, it is something good for lunch, and also it might be more digestible during the winter season, maybe not in the summer season. Yeah. And the lime, I think, is used for bringing that sour taste. Yeah, and lime sour taste also increases the digestion, and then it increases the appetite. So it also helps to because sour taste has the element of, it is made up with the element of and fire and earth. Yeah, so it has that penetrating nature, so it helps to open up the channels and it helps to assimilate the food better. That is why we need a little bit of sour taste, not too much. When the sour taste becomes too much, again, it increases the fire, it increases the heat, it increases the, because of the heat, so we can experience the dryness in the stomach lining. So all those things might happen. So, but it is, when it is used in balance, it improves the assimilation of the nutrients. Okay, so shall we move on to the next one? Any questions? Okay, let's go to the next one. Yeah, so these are now I'm just going to look at some of the recipes I made during last 2 weeks. I tried to take the pictures. I'm not really a food photographer or anything, but I try to take the pictures of what I have cooked. Again, we are experiencing a winter, like a late fall. It's very dry and cold here. So I am personally experiencing a little slow, the effects of constipation and dryingness in the body. So this is one of the breakfasts that I make. This is oatmeal. So these are rolled oats. So these are, yeah, not fully processed or anything. Yeah, it's just rolled oats. So I use ghee here, and I have some dates to bring in the. So winter is, what is the winter qualities? It is a drying and it is cool, and um, yeah, those are the main qualities. So cool and dryness. To handle this, we are looking for something that can bring warmth and heaviness in the body. Yeah, cool, dry, and light. So we are looking for something that can bring warmth and heaviness in the body. In general, the breakfast time is falls between 6 and 10, like around 7 to 8. That is the kappa of time. So we are looking for something that is warm, yeah, and easy to digest, not too heavy to digest. And that is also because it is the drying season right now, so I'm looking for something that is moist. Yeah, something that is moist and like the porridge format. And so I use sesame seeds here, and this is the almond milk that I make at home. And I use the spices, the cardamom and cinnamon. Yeah, and if I basically want to use it for somebody that is more vata, they need little bit more what is it, more dense nutrition, more heaviness in the body. So I could actually replace these seeds with some nuts, so either almonds or walnuts. Again, it is not recommended to use all the nuts all the time. Try to stick to one variety and see how it feels. Yeah, so just because they're nutritious, they're healthy, it is not recommended to mix multiple things at the same time. And body also needs to digest the different varieties. So either stick to the seeds, because that's my digestion is good, but my in general, my because of my constitution, my digestion is not, I won't be able to digest if I put too many nuts. I will be feeling heavy for a long time. So to bring the sweetness, because the light and all that, so I put put some couple of dates and all that. This is the rolled oats, and you can replace this with olive oil also. You don't have to use ghee. And if you are looking for something to keep it light, so you can use water instead of the almond milk. And if you want to make it a little bit heavy, you can use the regular milk. Yeah. And if I'm doing something like this in summer, I would probably choose not the oats. I would probably go with the barley flakes or quinoa flakes. Or in spring, I could also do with this with the millets. Yeah. And once it is cooked, my husband, like I use honey, and when you are using honey, you want to wait when until the food is not too hot, because if you put honey with the very hot stuff, you would lose the whatever the nutritional benefits, and Ayurveda says it becomes poisonous. So I would use honey, but my husband is likes more sweetness. He's a pitta, so he needs a little bit more sweetness to calm his thing. So he uses maple syrup. So that is how I do this one. If you have any questions, Sudha, do you have any question? Okay. Anybody have any questions? Shall we move on to the next recipe or next thing? So just for us to get some idea on how to look at the ingredients. Yeah.
I just want to know, are you showing something which I'm not able to see, or are you just speaking about it? I'm not seeing a chart, so
You are not seeing any picture here.
yeah. So is there
Nobody is
something I
seeing
have
it.
to open? I don't know.
We can see it. I think you have to like put the PowerPoint, not PowerPoint, like Jyoti, you have to like click on the icon. Sometimes the video pops up as big.
Oh, which icon? I need to figure that out, I guess. I'm just listening as of now. So
Oh, so everybody else can see this.
yeah, so I'm
Yes.
somewhere off then. So I just going to.
Were you able to see the presentation before, Jyoti, or
Yeah, I
no?
was. Do I have to slide it or something? No.
No.
If
Now I
you
can see. I can see now. Thank you.
Okay, so yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. So
Yeah,
this is the oatmeal,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Thank you.
This is
I have
one of
a question on we have muesli, it's called, right? Which is
Muesli, yeah.
yeah, is that healthy or would you call it as a processed food because it is roasted?
I do call it as a processed.
Okay.
So you are right, yeah. And if you can make it fresh at home, that is ideal. And muesli will have lots of I don't know, lots of nuts and everything added to it, right? Dried fruits like that, or no?
Yes, but what I was also thinking is, does roasting remove some of the nutrients of the oats?
So it will certainly dry it up. So again, in this form, it is more kind of moisture. It can retains the moisture, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so that's why even if you're eating oat bar or kind of protein bars or whatever,
Mm.
so that can increase the dryness of the system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, once it is roasted, it will lose over the time, it will lose all the nutrients. So it applies to even our spices. So the spices is stored better. Like the fresh spices are better compared to the powder spices. You can store the fresh spices for an year or so, but in the powder format, if they are basically fresh, will have nutritional qualities maybe up to 3 months. So when you are buying from the stores, look at the expiry date and all that, or if you can make it at home, that's nothing like it. So next thing I have is these are apples, some nuts and date, and again the cinnamon and the cardamom, the grass-fed ghee, so there's some little bit of nutmeg. These are the dried fruits. I have this fig and the raisins soaked. These are soaked overnight. So this is the season we get more of apples and pears. Yeah. So again, to eat something warm in the morning, so I do cook these fruits. So I sometimes I mix both apple and pear. Sometimes I just do it with the apple. The concept, having that moistness, having some fat, a little bit of fat in the morning. uh, yeah, all these are interchangeable. You can change, so you can add seeds if you want, or you can actually, if you are feeling heavy, don't want to have all this load of nuts and the dates in the morning, you can totally skip this. So this will actually become, the fruits will self will become little sweeter once it is cooked. Um, and so because again, to support my the flow um, the flow the to address my constipation, I added some fig and raisins for this. And so again, when it is try this. This is very good if you actually eat it warm. It also smells very good because of the cinnamon and all that. Yeah. Sudha, you have a question? So, and yes, these are the couple of the breakfast options to consider in the winter season, or when the weather is cold. If you are looking for something warm.
Uh, just a question. You're adding the nutmeg and the cinnamon and the
Nutmeg is just grated, just a few things of nutmeg.
so one while cooking, if you add, then you actually eat the cinnamon stick while
Yes,
or
I
if-
remove.
ah
I
yeah,
remove. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's just for the flavor, right? Yeah.
It's it is not just for the flavor, it is also for the digestibility of the fruit and the nuts, that if you're adding some nuts in it. Yeah. And also the cinnamon actually increases, it's a warming spice, right? It creates the warmth in the body. So, yeah. So for this season. Yeah.
So if we cook with it and then remove it, it'll still give that effect, what you're saying, the warming and the
Yes, yes, yeah. So once we actually, all the spices, if you cook in the fat or oil, so it actually releases all its micronutrients, all the essential oils, everything is get into the fats. So that's how. That's why it is actually recommended to do the seasoning instead of just putting on top of the food, just sprinkling on top of the food. So just having it actually sauteing it in the oil is recommended.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you say you sauteed the fruits in the oil?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And I cook it. I cook it for 5 minutes or something. This
Okay.
one. Yeah. This is the cooked one. Yeah. Oh, so we are almost at the end of the thing and didn't get a chance to go through the whole thing. But if there are any burning questions that you want to be answered, we can go through that. And I can share this presentation if you think it would be helpful. I was going to go through some of these. But here I have these sweet taste and the Madhura Rasa. So what are the qualities and how it helps the system? Yeah. And so we can look at some of the examples. The sour taste is the combination of the fire and earth. So any element that has these sour taste. So, what would be some of the examples of the sour taste? So the food items that would have sour taste in them. So the lemons, limes,
Tamarind,
tamarind, yeah. So
kokum. Yeah.
kokum, yes, yeah, yeah. And so this has the fire element, so that means it can penetrate into the channels, and it will actually help us to secrete the digestive enzymes. Yeah. So
Vinegar also?
it aids. Pardon?
Vinegar?
So vinegar is sour taste, but it is fermented, right?
Mm.
That is why the use of vinegar, you also need to observe how it affects the body. So overuse of vinegar for the salad dressings, all it badly affects because it's too much fire, right? So it leads to acidity and heartburn. So if you're experiencing any of these, you try to cut down on those taste and see how it changes. Mm. And so the sweet sour taste improves salivation and absorption. It also promotes timely elimination. So that is one of the reason we used to have rasam that is made with tamarind. Right? Again, everything needs to be balanced. If it goes overboard, again, it has a bad impact on the body. So that's why it's tuning into the body and addressing when they are at the very what is that sprout level instead of waiting for them to go to the illnesses or diseases. And so if you look at the salt taste is made up of fire and water. Yeah. So salt is mainly the salt, like sea salt or the Himalayan salt or the seaweeds are salty taste. Yeah. So it actually helps to pull out the water from the tissues. Yeah, so if you are eating too much salty food, you are actually drying your system because it is pulling out the excess, a lot of water from the tissues. And so tissue dryness you might experience. And it would lead to, because it is pulling the water from the tissues, you might experience the puffiness and water retention somewhere else in the body. So again, all these tastes have some qualities, some the effects on the how it affects our mind. So it improves motivation and clarity. The salt taste. So again, if the food is missing salt, we can't really enjoy. So the correct amount of food is salt is very very important. So yeah, we can't enjoy this. It brings all the flavors together. The salt taste. It improves the taste of the food. Again, it helps to stimulate the Agni. Yeah. So, and yeah, similarly, we have pungent. Yes, somebody.
On the salt, can you just give your viewpoint on the pink and the white salt? Because I had switched last year totally to pink salt, and my TSH and thyroid levels started fluctuating. And I was told it's a bad idea to cook with pink salt. Pink salt is just to be had in a few dishes on a salad or something. Is that so?
Pink salt, by that you mean this Himalayan salt or
Yes,
something?
the rock salt. Yes, the rock salt.
Yeah,
Himalayan.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So Ayurveda says Saindhava salt is the best salt. Uh, right? The rock salt. So that is what I'm using now. And even so it has all the minerals, lot of minerals and everything. So that is the recommended version. And again, the sea salt is a little bit more heating than the pink salt. Yeah. So how it affects the THS, TSH levels and all that, I'm not sure. But the um, again, it all comes down to what else is happening. So because of the Saindava salt, they said their TSH levels are fluctuating. Is that?
Yeah, they said because iodized salt is important, and this one lacks in iodine, so it's not a good idea to switch. That's what the doctor said. So,
So at least one of my teachers said if you're really worried about iodine or whatever, if you actually eat at least once a week, like at least eat anything outside, it will have iodized salt.
ah,
So that would actually get your the 1 week portion of iodine that the body requires. Yeah, that is at least her explanation in terms of whether you need to worry about having iodine. If you, yeah, so eat even at least 1 or 2 chips. That your iodine is covered for a week.
oh, okay,
That is not the worry. Yeah. Mhm.
okay.
Please Saindava salt.
Uh-huh.
What exactly
What is
is
Saindava
Saindava?
salt? Saindava salt is the salt that is that yeah, that's similar to that Himalayan salt that I think it's kind of a Hindu or Sindhu river near uh, that the salt that is formed there.
Mhm. I see.
And so it's supposed to have like there are salt similar to that are actually harvested here in uh, the mountains near here. So I use that salt. So basically compared to the sea salt, right? It has a different type of minerals. It has less heating thing. So that is why. So then look at the pungent taste, katurasa. So again, stimulates digestion and it helps to, again, because of the fire, it has the penetrating nature because it is very sharp. So it can flow through. So that is why we need this taste to actually remove any excess or kind of remove undigested particles from the body, from the circulatory system. So it helps to clear the mucus and the block. So certain amount of ginger is required to maintain the stability, and certain amount of chilies or the ginger or any other that is spicy is required to reduce the heaviness and the lethargy. So if you are eating food that is too sweet or kind of that is heavy, so to be able to digest that, you need to have some of these. Lot of spices we use has this pungent quality. That the cloves and the cinnamon have a little bit of pungency and the sweet. So that is why those are added, not just for the flavor. All those spices are added for the to boost our digestion. So it helps to clears the channel, so release sinus congestion. That is why even the herbal teas, right? So you can take that in form of the ginger tea and or the fennel tea. So all those are kind of gentle way of helping our system to remove anything that is excess that is stuck. Yeah. Again, you always want to look for the balance. You don't look for or cutting down anything or doing it too much because it is because it is healthy, because it would lead you into other direction. It would lead you into heartburn or acidity, dries out skin, weakness of tissues because you are always depleting. You are trying to clean the system all the time if you are eating too much pungent food. So it would over the time it would deplete our tissues.
How much is excess in ginger? Because I like ginger and I'm not sure if I'm having it in excess. Like about a
So
quarter piece of ginger per day is too much.
I would say for me, quarter piece of a ginger is not too much. But again, but I did do overboard with the ginger because I also like the ginger, and I learned that it is very good for the digestion and all that. But it led me towards the constipation for me, because it was drying too much. Yeah, because of this pungent taste. Then I adjust the quantity, that how much I use. Yeah. So the that's the basically when you are tasting, when you are cooking and tasting something, ideally you should feel the combination of the taste. You should feel the combination of sour, salt, and pungency. You should not feel one taste dominating the other.
Mm.
Uh, that is how we know
It's
that the
excess.
food is balanced. Yeah, the food is excess. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you won't go for something that is only sour taste in a meal, right?
Mm.
You want to make sure you have other tastes to balance that, to be able to digest that. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah. So
Thank
that's what I used to do. I used to just eat tamarind rice on the festivals because I like it too much.
you.
So now I kind of, okay, so how can I add something to that meal? So tamarind rice will still be mine, but how can I add something else to balance that? Maybe kind of roasted sweet potatoes or something on the side. And some soupy stuff or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Payasam.
Mm-hmm. Which
Payasam.
one? Payasam. Payasam is a different topic here.
Yeah.
Because the Ayurveda says salt and milk are not compatible.
Oh.
So you have an actually, so that is one thing that could irritate the digestion, is if you are actually adding milk during your cooking or any creams. So that would affect your microbiome, or that would affect how you are digesting the food. Yeah. And over the time, it says it would result in building up of the ama, undigested food in the body. Even though you feel like you've been doing this for a long time, nothing, it's not getting affected. But we tend to, at least I tend to not pay attention to, okay, I'm feeling heavy after the meal, that's okay. So I'm feeling lethargic or sleepy while I am doing pranayama or meditation. Okay, but those are all linked to the food that we are eating.
Mm.
Okay, so if you start paying attention to those are not small symptoms, but we consider them as normal. Uh,
Mm.
but what normalcy is, kind of feeling light and clear after you eat. That is how you should feel. So if there is anything else that is happening, that means you need to look at the strength of that knee. You need to look at what is you are feeding, what are you putting in your mouth. So,
Mm.
and it doesn't, I don't mean to say get too panic or kind of get too rigid about what you are eating and all, but be gentle and start paying attention and see how you can shift one thing at a time. Yeah.
But adding milk is not good to any vegetables and all.
No. That is the improper. Yeah. So for Ayurveda has like some list of incompatible combinations, right? So Ayurveda says that is what is it? Salt and milk are not a compatible combination for our stomach, for digestion.
Mhm.
So it would leave something. So there are a lot of research going on in that areas. But from what I know, the it creates this undigested thing, ama, and over the time, it would lead you into like these conditions the people experience that doesn't have like our immune system attacking ourselves, autoimmune things, and all that stuff.
Mm.
yeah, arthritis and those kind of issues. And any skin issues you are experiencing could be the because of this incompatible combinations. So the lot of people do like after eating, they drink tea or coffee or something with the milk.
Mhm.
Even actually, even after the breakfast, immediately after eating the breakfast, drinking tea or coffee with milk is not recommended uh, because it has the milk component and your breakfast might have salt and other stuff. Yeah.
Mm.
So, yeah, there is a lot to talk about when it comes to food. But I don't mean to confuse anybody with this. I hope this information is giving you more clarity.
So we can keep gaps between food and habit, I suppose. Like the tea can be had after some time, maybe after breakfast.
So tea, a morning tea or evening tea, what time?
Morning, I'm talking about like after breakfast. You said, you eat salty something, then you can't have tea immediately. So,
Immediately, yes. Yeah, you need to wait at least for an hour or so.
oh,
Yeah,
yes, okay.
yeah,
What
one
if
hour
it's
or so.
before? What if you have tea first thing and then the breakfast?
Ideally, Ayurveda doesn't recommend. Why are you drinking tea in the morning?
Oh, I love it. It's a ritual. It's a time when I sit and think about life.
Yeah, some things we do out of habit and something we do out of like that's what we are used to as a ritual or something. So figure out, so are you do if you're doing it for energy or feeling fresh or something, correction needs to happen somewhere else, not through coffee or
Okay.
tea, right?
No,
Uh,
it's a mental thing. It's a
mental.
meditative thing that happens in the morning. And if I don't have it, it's like, oh my God, I didn't start the day right.
Yeah, yeah. And starting the day with warm water is recommended.
Mm.
Uh, you can probably still have coffee after that, but so try starting the day with some warm water. You can
Yeah, I
also have,
do that. So I have warm water.
yeah,
Then
and
immediately I get into a tea.
yeah. So basically, um, in the morning when there is nothing in the stomach, so body is looking for a real nutrition. Yeah, and so coffee and tea are not considered real nutritions.
Mm.
So it is good to start with something grain, with has some grain and nourishing to the body,
What
right?
about nuts? Can we eat nuts? Very light and then eat. Sorry, I'm trying to
Yeah.
fix the tea.
Yeah.
Because having breakfast makes me very heavy and then I can't go into the meditation part
Hmm.
with
You
tea.
could, yeah. So you could probably start with something light, maybe having a fruit, yeah, cooked fruit or a regular fruit or something. And even milk is okay. You can drink warm milk with some spices. Yeah. Yeah, see how it works. Yeah, so if you think you are able to focus better if you're after drinking coffee and tea with your meditation, or you are able to focus better if you eat a fruit and go to the meditation. Or drink some really nice warm milk, add some spices. Warm, when I say milk, you don't have to drink a full cup of milk or something, just a half cup with some warm spices. So we are also trying to get into this more sattvic mode before we do
Mm.
meditation or any of these things, right? And coffee and tea tend to increase our rajasic nature, and yeah, so that is something to consider.
Herbal
Yeah.
tea.
Herbal tea, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So basically, that is why coffee and tea before breakfast, at least from the nutrition standpoint of view, from how you want to feel throughout the day, it is not recommended. And then having a gap, if you must have coffee or tea, having a gap after the breakfast to reduce the incompatible nature is good. Yeah.
Mm. Thank you. Yeah.
So, yes. Again, so we are going very overboard. I'll wrap it up. So I can share if you want to look at these the slides, I can share the presentation. So yeah, and yeah, so this is what I wanted to end the presentation with. So again, eating anything. So annam is the one that is sustaining our life at the body level, and also it is influencing our mind. So it is a very sacred activity. So that is because the strength of the Agni determines the strength of our digestion, determines how we perceive the world, how we perceive the situations. It affects our perception, and all that. So when you consider food as nourishment, not as something that fills your body, that balances your hunger or kind of that satisfies your hunger. So when you look at food as the nourishment for your body and mind, then the way you approach food will be different. Yeah, food qualities. So whatever the qualities that food has, that the ingredient has, we receive those qualities. When chosen well, food supports digestion, steadiness, and vitality. So here, basically, again, this comes to the qualities and how it is grown, what are the practices, and when you're eating at the restaurant, like how it is kept, and all those will take taken into account. So again, having a practice of awareness before you eat or before you cook, what do I eat right now? Warmth, grounding, lightness, calm. So doing it accordingly will make the difference. Will reflect the state you want to move toward after eating. Did this bring clarity or awareness, calm or agitation? So taking the moment to pause before the meal and after the meal. So basically it sets up our basically building our samskara towards the food. It is not something that happens from day one, but actually having this routine of observation as you go along, that would set up for a more healthy habits to build up, and so it would prevent lot of diseases, and it would improve our clarity, and it will help us to stay on our path. Either it is yoga or some healing or any other thing that we want to do. It will improve the clarity. So yeah, these small observation will help us with the creating our own way of creating the meals that are suitable for us. So we don't have to depend on what is the good food that is, what is the superfood that is in trend right now. So we always have to tune into our body and understand. So when you start interacting with the food in terms of their elements, you will be actually able to develop your relationship. The food will improve, and yeah, you appreciate the food more. Yeah. So those are my takeaways. Those are the things that I experienced over the time. Like for fast 5 years, I am working with food with more awareness. So I hope it becomes true for you as well, and hope this session was helpful and
Yeah, sure.
take something that's useful.
Sure, thank you. And one thing I've heard is the kitchen is an aushadhalaya. That's
Yes,
something
yeah,
that stuck with me, you know, in some Ayurveda thing, I heard this.
yes,
Kitchen is
yeah. Kitchen
aushadhalaya.
is, yeah, that is the place. That is very sacred space.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and you have that intention once you enter into that place, that it can have our has its effects on how we interact with the food. And when we are cooking the food, basically we remember the people it is feeding. For us are also the people it is we are cooking, right? So it can transform in a different way. Yeah, in a much more positive way. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
Thank you, Shubha.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.